I have to admit, I've been feeling this very specific kind of exhaustion lately.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not physical tired. It's this low-grade background buzz in my brain.
Right.
I open my laptop, and the headlines are all just shouting at me. AI just passed the bar exam. Robots are writing symphonies. Superintelligence is 6 months away. Feels like we're all unwittingly signed up for this marathon against an opponent that doesn't sleep, doesn't eat, and honestly, I feel like I'm losing.
You're describing the mood of the decade, really.
Yeah.
It's this collective anxiety that humanity is, suddenly an obsolete operating system.
Yes. Obsolete, that's the word.
We look at the benchmarks, IQ scores, processing speed, and we see the machines just climbing the graph while we stay flat. It's terrifying if you look at it that way.
If I look at it that way, is there another way to look at it? Because right now, the narrative seems to be catch up or become a pet to our robot overlords.
There's a very different way to look at it, and that's why we're digging into this specific source today.
Yeah.
We are looking at a review by the AI thought leader Johan Steyn. He's tackling a book called AI versus Superintelligence, The Last Human Advantage by Gerber.
Right.
And the reason this stood out to me is that Gerber just flips that whole race narrative on his head. He argues that the contest isn't between human intelligence and machine intelligence at all.
Okay, wait. You have to explain that. If
Yeah.
I'm competing for a job against an algorithm that costs pennies to run, how is that not a contest of intelligence?
Because you're trying to compete on the machine's home turf. Gerber's premise, and Steyn really leans into this, is that the real battle isn't about becoming smarter or faster to beat the AI.
So what is it?
The battle is between remembering and forgetting what makes us human. If we try to outprocess the processor, we lose. It's that simple.
Yeah.
But if we double down on the things that are structurally impossible for a machine to do,
Then the game changes.
the whole game changes.
So the strategy isn't upgrade your brain, it's stop trying to be a computer.
In a nutshell, yes. Steyn highlights that this book isn't a technical manual. You aren't going to find Python scripts or, neural network diagrams here.
It's a philosophical reset.
Exactly. It forces us to stop asking, how do I survive the AI apocalypse? And start asking, what's the point of being human in the first place?
That sounds almost therapeutic, but I want to get concrete. The title mentions the last human advantage. Before we get to what that is, how does Gerber view AI itself? Because usually we treat it like this alien invasion, something that just landed to disrupt us.
Yeah, that's the standard view, but Gerber contextualizes it so differently. He places AI on a timeline of tools.
Like fire or the steam engine?
Exactly. Fire, the steam engine, electricity, every single one of those was a shock to the system. Fire gave us cooked food and warmth, but it also gave us the ability to burn down our neighbor's village.
The classic double-edged sword. But
Yeah.
a steam engine didn't talk back to me. It didn't write poetry. It feels like AI is a fundamentally different category of tool because it mimics us.
It mimics us because it is us. And this is the core metaphor of the book, the mirror.
The mirror.
And this is where the analysis gets, a little uncomfortable. A hammer extends your hand. A telescope extends your eye. But AI is trained on the sum total of human digital output. Our books, our arguments, our art.
Our dark corners of the internet.
All of it. So when you look at the output of a large language model, you aren't seeing an alien intelligence. You are seeing a reflection.
Okay, I want to push back on that mirror idea for a second. A mirror is passive. I stand in front of it, it shows my face.
Yeah.
But these algorithms are active, they curate, they hallucinate. Is mirror really the right word?
That's a great question. Think of it less like a bathroom mirror and more like an archaeological dig that's been animated.
Okay.
The algorithm is just processing patterns of human thought and behavior that we've left behind. And Steyn points out that if the AI is biased or aggressive, it's reflecting the biases and aggression that already exist in its training data.
So if we're scared of what the AI is becoming,
We're actually scared of what we have become.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing our collective psyche reflected back at us at 1 billion cycles per second.
Wow.
And the question shifts from, will AI become conscious, which is kind of the sci-fi distraction, to what does our use of AI reveal about our own nature?
That puts the responsibility in a very awkward place. It's not the algorithm did it, it's the algorithm learned it from us.
And that feedback loop is precisely why Gerber identifies this human advantage.
Yeah.
If AI is just a mirror, then the things that make us distinct are the things that cannot be captured in data.
Right. And the book outlines 3 of these.
3 specific pillars, yes.
Let's break these down, because I feel like this is where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
The first one is imagination.
Yes.
Now, I have to play the skeptic here. I can go to Midjourney right now, type in cyberpunk squirrel fighting a dragon made of cheese. It generates something that has never existed. That looks a lot like imagination to me.
It does, and this is where we have to get a little bit technical to understand the philosophical point.
Go for it.
What that model is doing is probabilistic prediction. It has ingested millions of images of squirrels and dragons and cheese. It knows the statistical relationship between those pixels. It's blending existing concepts. It's remixing the past.
But the result is new. Does the mechanism matter if the output creates a sense of wonder?
The mechanism matters entirely because of intent. Gerber defines human imagination as the ability to see beyond the present, to create futures that do not yet exist. Not just mashups of what's already happened. A human imagines because they have a desire to change reality or express an internal state. The AI has no internal state. It isn't visualizing a squirrel because it thinks it's funny. It's just predicting the next set of pixels that satisfies your prompt.
So AI is the ultimate derivative artist. It can only riff on what's been done, whereas a human can break the pattern entirely.
Ideally, yes.
Yeah.
Humans can conceptualize what ought to be rather than just what is likely to follow. That spark of nonlinear novelty, that's what Gerber is protecting.
Okay, I can see that distinction, even if the lines are getting blurrier. Let's move to the second pillar, empathy.
Right.
This one feels like an easy win for humans, but again, the technology is getting so good at faking it. There are therapy bots now that people swear by. They say the bot listens better than their spouse.
And that is the simulacrum problem. Steyn warns heavily against this. AI can simulate the linguistic markers of empathy.
The right words to say.
It knows that when you say, "I'm sad," the correct response is, "I'm sorry to hear that, tell me more." It recognizes the pattern, but recognition is not experience.
But if I feel heard, does it matter that the listener is a piece of code? If the user gets the benefit, isn't that empathy?
Gerber's argument is that it creates a hollowing out of our humanity. True empathy involves risk. When you tell a friend you're suffering, they feel a resonance of that pain. It costs them something.
Yeah, they worry. They lose sleep.
Exactly. That shared vibration is what builds the bond. An AI cannot be moved. It processes your trauma as just another input token to be optimized.
It's like eating plastic fruit because it looks perfect. You might enjoy the aesthetic, but you're going to starve to death.
That's a visceral way to put it. And Steyn notes that if we settle for that cheap imitation of connection, because it's easier, because the bot never judges us, we atrophy our ability to handle the messy, difficult reality of human relationships.
We start preferring the mirror that flatters us over the person who challenges us.
Precise.
And that leads to the third pillar, meaning making. This sounds a bit more abstract. What does he mean by this?
This is the slow, often painful work of weaving events into a story. Think about your own life. You lose a job. At the time, it's just data and negative financial event.
Right.
But over time, you construct a narrative. Losing that job forced me to reevaluate my career, which led me to this.
Yeah.
Whatever comes next. You create meaning out of chaos.
We tell ourselves stories to survive. We need to believe there's a plot.
Machines don't need a plot. They optimize for goals we set. They don't sit in the dark wondering, what is the purpose of this calculation, or who am I?
They have no existential stake.
None. Gerber argues that meaning isn't a data point you can process. It's a subjective structure you build. And that struggle to build it is uniquely human.
It's interesting that all 3 of these, imagination, empathy, meaning, require a certain amount of inefficiency.
They absolutely do.
They require time, they require feeling bad sometimes, sitting with uncertainty.
And that observation bridges us to the most surprising part of the book. Steyn notes that the text takes this sharp turn from tech analysis to something almost spiritual.
I saw that in the notes. He starts using words like source and stillness. It felt like a hard pivot. Is he telling us to go meditate in a cave to beat the algorithms?
In a sense, he is. But consider the logic. If the machine dominates the realm of speed, noise, and data processing, where is the human advantage?
It has to be in the opposite.
It has to be in the silence. The book suggests that you cannot access deep imagination or true empathy if your brain is operating at the same frenetic frequency as a social media feed.
This connects to the efficiency trap you mentioned. I think this is where most of us get stuck. I can't just go sit in silence. I have emails to answer.
And that is the trap. The modern workplace convinces us that better always means faster. But if you compete on speed, you are competing against electricity. You will lose.
So what do we do?
Steyn emphasizes that we have to change the metrics of value. We have to start valuing wisdom, which is slow over intelligence, which is fast.
That sounds great for a philosopher, but how does that land in the real world? Let's talk about the implications Steyn brings up for, say, education. I know the source material has a specific focus on South Africa here.
Yes, and the South African context is crucial because it really highlights the stakes. You have an education system often struggling with resources, trying to catch up by grilling standardizations.
Right.
But Gerber argues that if you focus on rote learning, memorizing facts, repeating formulas, you are training children for jobs that won't exist in 5 years. You're training them to be second-rate robots.
This is relevant globally, though. We're still testing kids on their ability to act like hard drives.
Absolutely. The shift needs to be towards what machines stumble on. And Stan highlights this one phrase, the capacity to live with ambiguity.
Live with ambiguity. Unpack that for me.
Well, computers hate ambiguity. They want a 0 or a 1, a clear categorization. Humans, however, we can hold two opposing ideas at once. We can understand that a situation is both tragic and funny.
We can navigate ethical gray areas.
Exactly. Where there is no right answer, only a least wrong one. Gerber's point is that education needs to stop punishing ambiguity and start teaching students how to navigate it.
So less multiple choice tests, more complex debates.
Deep ethical reasoning, creative problem solving, emotional intelligence. If a student can write a perfect essay but can't resolve a conflict with a peer, the system has failed them.
That applies to business leadership, too. The review had a specific challenge for leaders, a question they need to ask.
Yes. The lazy question for a CEO is, what can we automate to save money?
The hard question.
The hard question is, what forms of judgment and care must we never outsource?
Can you give an example of that? Where do we draw that line?
Think about firing someone. You could technically have an AI analyze performance data, draft a termination email, and send it. It's efficient, it's accurate.
But it's morally bankrupt.
It's completely bankrupt. The act of separating someone from their livelihood requires human weight. It requires the manager to look the person in the eye and bear the discomfort of that decision.
So the inefficiency of doing it yourself is actually the value. The care is in the effort.
The friction is the point. When you remove all friction from life, you just slide right past meaning.
This brings it all down to what Steyn calls citizen choice. Most of us aren't CEOs. We're just trying to get through the day. How does this apply to me holding my phone?
Steyn's argument is that the future isn't just decided in Silicon Valley boardrooms. It's decided in those micro moments. Every time you choose to let an algorithm decide what you watch next, you're ceding a little bit of your agency.
Every time you treat a service worker like a vending machine because you're in a rush.
You are acting like a machine.
It's terrifying how easy it is to slip into that. I catch myself getting annoyed when a human interaction takes 10 seconds longer than the app would have.
That's the mirror working on you. You're reflecting the machine's values. The last human advantage is a shared responsibility to refuse that programming.
It's a choice to reclaim your attention.
To nurture relationships that aren't efficient. To engage with art that challenges you rather than content that pacifies you.
It sounds like a rebellion, but a quiet one.
A rebellion of stillness. A rebellion of depth.
So, to bring this full circle, we started with the fear that we're being left behind. But the picture you've painted here is that we're actually in danger of leaving ourselves behind.
That's it. The summary of the review puts it perfectly. This isn't a book about beating the machines at their own game. It's about refusing to become machine-like ourselves.
If we compete on speed, we lose.
If we compete on humanity, we have no competition.
That's a powerful pivot. But I want to leave our listeners with something to really chew on. We talked about the mirror, and mirrors can be unflattering.
They can be brutally honest.
So here's the challenge for everyone listening. The next time you are interacting with AI, prompting a chatbot, scrolling a feed, take a second to look in that mirror. Ask yourself, what is this machine showing me about myself right now? Am I being impatient? Am I looking for a shortcut to avoid thinking?
Am I asking the machine to do the heavy lifting of being creative or empathetic for me? That's the ultimate reality check. Do we have the courage to look in that mirror and, if we don't like what we see, change the person standing in front of it?
Because we can't just blame the glass anymore.
We can't.
Wow. Thank you for helping us unpack this. It's been, ironically, a very humanizing conversation.
It was a pleasure.
And to you listening, thanks for giving us your time and your very human attention. We'll catch you in the next deep dive.